Welcome to the monthly politIQ Game Show Challenge, the only game show where you can prove that you know politics. Today's three contestants have worked their way to the top of the monthly politIQ leaderboard by correctly answering the most number of questions related to the hot topics of politics in the month of June. Let's meet our contestants. First, from all the way from Connecticut, we have Dana.
Oh.
Also from Connecticut, we have Dylan.
Hey.
And finally, from Chicago, we have Lee.
Hi.
The game will be broken up into two parts. The first part, there's no penalty for guessing incorrect answers, whereas the second part, contestants will be deducted points for incorrect answers. All right, so now let's take a look at the categories of the game. Starting with, did the Supreme Court, in which every single question is a yes or no question about a Supreme Court ruling over the past month. The second category is all about immigration. The third category is U.S. and the world, more so geopolitical events that happened during the month of June. And the fourth category is which candidate, in which every question, the correct answer is a Democratic presidential candidate. And then finally, ending with major headlines. Let's get started. Dana, you are coming in with the highest monthly politIQ score, so I'm going to go ahead and let you choose the first category.
U.S. and the world for 200?
All right, U.S. and the world for 200. The Senate voted this month to block contentious arms sales to the United Arab Emirates and what other country? Looks like Dana buzzed in first, so Dana, what do you think?
Saudi Arabia?
Yes, that is correct. So Dana gets 200 points. All right, Dana, you got that answer correct, so go ahead and choose the next category.
Which candidate for 300?
Which candidate has come under fire for flip-flopping on his support for federal bans on abortion spending and also for defending having previously compromised with segregationists in Congress? And it looks like Lee was the first to buzz in. Lee, what do you think?
Is it Cory Booker?
It is not. Dana, what do you think?
Joe Biden?
That is correct. Joe Biden. All right, Dana, once again, you can choose the next category.
Immigration for 300.
Immigration. Which of the following is the fastest growing immigrant group in America? Europeans, Hispanics, or Asians? And Dylan, what do you think?
Asians.
That is correct. 37% of recent immigrants were Asians in 2018. All right, Dylan, the board is yours. Which category would you like to choose?
I'll do U.S. and the world for 400.
Which U.S. adversary shot down an unmanned U.S. drone, prompting harsher economic sanctions and an increased possibility of military action? And it looks like Dana was the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Iran?
That's correct. All right, and Dana, go ahead and choose the next category.
Let's do, did the Supreme Court for 300?
Did the Supreme Court rule in favor of the Trump administration's attempt to include a citizenship question on the 2020 national census? And it looks like Lee buzzed in first. Lee, what do you think?
He did not. There will not be a citizenship question.
That is correct. To provide a little bit of an update on that, Trump today tweeted that he is moving forward with including that question, baffling most people in Washington, given that his own Commerce Secretary admitted that they started printing the census forms today without the question. So we'll see what happens there. All right, Lee.
Let's do the candidates for 200.
Which candidate spoke outside of a Walmart stockholders meeting this month to demand the company pay their employees a minimum wage of $15 an hour? Dana.
Bernie Sanders.
That is correct, Dana. A bonus point. Does anyone know what the current federal minimum wage is? No, it is $7.25, and that has not changed since 2009. Dana, you got that correct, so go ahead and choose the next category.
Let's do, did the Supreme Court for 400?
Did the Supreme Court decline to hear a case that challenges abortion rights by banning the procedure after 15 weeks of pregnancy? And Dylan, you're the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Yes.
Dylan, you are correct. Choose the next category.
I will pick major headlines for 400.
Senior White House advisor Kellyanne Conway was recently subpoenaed by Congress to testify after a special counsel recommended she be fired for violating the Blank Act, which prohibits federal employees from engaging in political activities in their official capacity. So I'm looking for the name of that act.
I know Colbert made fun of her for this, but I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, that's fine. It's pretty obscure. It's called the Hatch Act. All right, Dylan, it's your board again. Choose the next category.
Okay, I will do immigration for 400.
What is the name of the long-standing court settlement that requires the federal government to provide education, recreational activities, and legal fees to immigration children while in custody at the border? The correct answer is the Flores Agreement. All right, so with that, we've come to the halfway point. The scores are as follows. In first place, we have Dana with 1,100 points. In second place, Dylan with 700 points. And in third place, Lee with 300 points. So before we move on to the second half of the game, let's meet our contestants. Starting with our leader, Dana. Dana, could you please tell me, if you were elected president, what would be the first thing you would pass into law on day one?
My man, Mr. Yang Gang, proposed that we have an official White House psychologist. I think that would be a wise decision for anyone holding office to have a sounding board.
True. All right. Dylan, if you could grab a beer with any president, who would it be and why?
Probably Lincoln, and it wouldn't be beer, but he did have a distillery, and I want to try some of his whiskey, so Lincoln.
Nice. All right. And finally, Lee, if you were elected president, what would your official White House pet be?
Oh, a cat.
A cat. And what would you name the cat?
I would name the cat Ladybird.
Oh, all right. I like it. All right, so with that, we're going to jump into round 2 of the game. And again, in this round, contestants will be deducted points if they answer incorrectly, so be sure not to buzz in if you are unsure or do not know the answer to a question. Lee, I'm going to open the board up to you. Go ahead and choose a category.
Candidates for 400.
Which presidential candidate introduced a proposal that would eliminate approximately $1.6 trillion in student debt and make public college free? And Dylan.
Bernie Sanders.
That is correct. Other presidential candidates have proposed similar legislation that would make public education more affordable, but Bernie Sanders' plan is by far the most far-reaching. Okay, Dylan, go ahead and choose the next category.
U.S. and the world for 300.
In what country is 40% of the population predicted to be out of fresh drinking water by 2030, according to a recent report? And Dylan, again, what do you think?
China.
That is incorrect. And it looks like, Lee, you were the second person to buzz in. What do you think?
India?
Yes, that's correct. Currently, 21 major cities in India are already out of fresh drinking water. So this is obviously a pretty big geopolitical concern. And Lee, go ahead and choose the next category.
All the way on the right.
What's the name of President Trump's transportation secretary who came under fire this month for using her position to benefit both her family's company and her husband, Senator Mitch McConnell? And it looks like, Lee, you were the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Elaine something.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. It's Elaine Chao. Lee, go ahead and choose the next category.
Okay, major headlines for 500.
In what state did the governor authorize police to track down 12 Republican senators who fled the state in an attempt to block a vote on carbon cap and trade legislation? And Dylan.
Oregon.
That is correct. The Democrats in the Oregon House have since given up trying to pass that legislation because they ultimately didn't even have the votes within their own caucus needed to pass it. All right, Dylan, go ahead. The board is yours.
U.S. and the world for 500.
Why are 20 million manufacturing jobs across the world expected to be displaced over the next decade, according to a new report? And Lee, you're the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Technology.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
No, I can't.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass that to Dylan.
Automated intelligence.
Yes, so automation, robots. I think like 8.5% of the global manufacturing workforce is expected to lose their job over the next 10 years due to the growth of automation. China, which is certainly leading that in terms of investment into robots, will be especially hard hit. People like Andrew Yang have gained so much popularity by introducing universal basic income as a way to try to offset the displacement that the growth of automation is expected to create. Okay, Dylan, you got that last question correct, so the board is yours. What category would you like to choose?
Did the Supreme Court for 500.
Did the Supreme Court rule against a veteran who was denied retroactive disability benefits? And Dylan, you're the first to buzz in.
The question's worded funny, but I think yes for what you're looking for.
The question is worded funny, and I was looking for no, I believe. So just to review the points, Dana is at 1,100, Dylan is in the lead with 1,300, and Lee is in third place with 900. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Dana to choose the next category.
Let's do major headlines for 200.
Under pressure from human rights activists, this major U.S. bank announced that they would cut ties to private prison companies that run U.S. migrant detention facilities. And Lee.
Bank of America.
Yes, Lee, that is correct. The board is yours. Go ahead and choose the next category.
The Supreme Court for 200.
All right. Did the Supreme Court rule that federal judges do not have the ability to curb the practice of partisan gerrymandering even when it disproportionately affects one party? Lee, you were the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Yes.
The answer is yes. Lee, go ahead and choose the next category.
I want major headlines.
Earlier this month, the Trump administration blocked all future federal funding for research that uses this due to ethical reasons. So they banned federal funding for research that uses what? And Lee, you're the first to buzz in.
Something with genetics.
Yeah, the answer is fetal tissue. So because that question was not completely correctly answered, I'm going to switch over to Dana to choose the next category. Dana, what do you want to go with?
Which candidate for? Let's just do 100. Let's keep it safe.
Which candidate unveiled a plan that would invest $2 trillion in the green energy manufacturing industry? And Lee, you're the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Is it John Hickenlooper?
It is not, and it never will be.
He like the climate change guy?
No, that's Jay Inslee. Well, the correct answer is, I believe, Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. She literally has a plan for everything, so this isn't entirely surprising. Dylan, I'm going to open up the board to you. Which category would you like to choose?
Immigration for 200.
What is the term given to the more than 2 million children of undocumented immigrants whose legal status was previously protected under an Obama-era executive order called DACA? And before I even finish the question, it looks like Lee buzzed in. Lee, what do you think?
Dreamers.
Yes, that is correct. All right, Lee, which category would you like to choose?
U.S. and the world for 100.
Which branch of federal government does the Constitution grant the authority to declare war? And Lee, you were the first to buzz in. What do you think?
Executive.
Incorrect. Anyone else? Dylan.
Congress.
Yes. So the legislative branch or Congress has the authority to declare war. The last time that Congress officially declared war was 1943. Dylan, go ahead and choose the next category.
We'll do immigration for 500.
How many Americans have been killed by refugees since 1975? So Lee, what do you think?
3.
Yes.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yes, the answer is 3. Fun fact, a total of 8 Americans have died eating dish detergent or Tide Pods. All right, so Lee, with answering that question correctly, you get to choose the next category.
Did the Supreme Court for 100.
Did the Supreme Court strike down a previous ruling that would have severely disadvantaged hospitals serving mostly low-income communities? So did they strike down that ruling? And Lee?
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. Lee, go ahead and choose the next category.
Which candidate for 500?
Which candidate had to temporarily leave the campaign trail in June after fallout from a racially charged police shooting? And it looks like, Lee, you were the first to raise your hand. What do you think?
Is it Mayor Pete?
Yes, that is correct. Pete Buttigieg. Fun fact, a new poll that came out today shows that he is polling at 0% support among African Americans. All right, so that brings us to the final category, immigration for 100. True or false? Last year, the U.S. reached a 5-year high in number of citizenships granted. Lee, what do you think?
False.
Nope, it is true. All right, and that brings us to the final round. Before we get there, I just want to go over the score totals. In the lead, we have Lee with 2,300 points. In second place, Dylan with 1,400 points. And third place, Dana with 1,100 points. Perhaps the largest oil spill that has occurred in the United States is currently ongoing, contributing over 1,000 times the amount of oil into the Gulf of Mexico than was previously reported by the oil company responsible, Taylor Energy. Approximately how many years has this oil spill been going on uncontained? All right, so with that, we have a clear winner. I want to thank all 3 of our contestants for participating. 2 of our contestants provided the same answer, suspicious, of 8 years, whereas the third contestant answered 9 years. The correct answer is 15 years. Therefore, Lee is the winner of the June politIQ Monthly Challenge. So congratulations, Lee. If you want a chance to compete in next month's politIQ Challenge or win money every week, go to whatsmypolitIQ.com and create a free profile. New quizzes are added daily and expire at the end of the month. Be sure to pay attention to the news every day and compete on whatsmypolitIQ.com in order to prove that you have the highest politIQ.